In this lesson, let's talk about API overview in terms of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and see how advanced hunting capability of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint fits in story of APIs. So in its essence, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint APIs provide possibility to expose Microsoft Defender for Endpoint's data in a way that you can manipulate and use that data with help of tools like PowerShell or Postman, something we will take a look on in the next lesson. Obviously, you will need to authenticate to the API, but instead of classic authentication with usernames and passwords to APIs, you will authenticate using application ID and application secret. But before everything, you will need to create Azure Active Directory application in appropriate tenant which has APIs that you want to access. And this Azure Active Directory application will need to have particular permissions, something we will show in the next lesson. But for now, let's stick with basics in high level. So we need to create an Azure Active Directory application in order to retrieve access token and use that token to access wanted Microsoft Defender for Endpoint APIs. And that is something we will show in the next lesson. Another interesting capability connected with APIs is advanced hunting. With advanced hunting, you can run queries from API. Let us explain that a little bit. So from Microsoft Defender for Endpoint portal, I will go to hunting and advanced hunting. First, you can see here on the left side schema, functions, queries, and detection rules. These tabs are basically meant for better organization of various items. By default, we land here on the schema tab. And as you can see here, schema tab lists various tables which provide informations about events, devices, emails, or any other entity provided by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint data, and organizes that entities per their type, as you can see here on the left. You can see devices, email and collaboration, and others. You need to have a knowledge of custom query language to be able to construct advanced hunting queries here in advanced hunting schema from provided tables. And these queries can span across multiple tables. Here, on these three dots on particular table of schema, you can select View Reference to learn more about that particular schema table. Now, if you select Queries next to schema, so let's select Queries. And now that we selected queries, here you can see community queries that are stored in GitHub. Now here on the three dots, I can select Open in Query Editor. And then I can work further on that particular query. And once you finish with editing or observing that particular query, you can run it. So, for example, I will select General Queries here on the left side, and below General Queries, we can select, for example, Device Uptime Calculation. There it is. And now you can see as well that we can work on more than just one query at a time. Here is Device Uptime Calculation query, and here is previously selected Active Directory Sensitive Group Modifications query. Now let's go back on Device Uptime Calculation query. And now if I click on Run this query, here below I can see results of this query. Interesting thing here is that if I select something from these results, anything, here I have option to take actions. And depending on results, here will be listed available actions to take. you can see that for this particular result, there are no actionable results. So you can see that advanced hunting also proposes appropriate actions or to start investigation on top of advanced hunting results coming from querying APIs. And that's it for this lesson. In next lesson of this section, we will talk about how to use Microsoft Defender for Endpoint APIs.